So I've got a ghost joke to start off the show.
Oh, okay.
Why do ghosts not make convincing liars?
No idea.
Because you can see right through them. And that is funnier than any joke in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Hello and welcome to Woodshed Reviews, where we look at films old and new, good and bad. And today we are going to look at the new Ghostbusters film, Frozen Empire.
Yeah. More of a direct sequel to Afterlife, which was a sort of reboot of the franchise.
Yeah.
After Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
And it wasn't too bad.
I meant to go back and watch Afterlife this week in the run-up. I didn't get round to it. I'm not going to apologise for that. I remember most of it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
From what I remember. A couple of things I could have done without. Lot of fan service crammed into it.
I kind of revisited a lot of lore from the first film, which is a bit annoying.
It went more for like aiming at the kid market, I suppose,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
More
Or
family.
younger, yeah. More family orientated instead of like sort of older adults and stuff like that. And that's fine. 40 years later, you want to do something else. You don't want to just take the original Ghostbusters and remake it. That would be dreadful.
No. Maybe make them all women or something.
Yeah, I never thought of that. That would be a good idea. That would definitely work.
Okay, power up!
It's such a cool idea of Ghostbusters. There's
Yeah.
something about it, and it's good to keep it going. But it's a hard thing to keep it going and keep it fresh and original.
Yeah,
Hard to please everyone.
definitely. And that would bring us on to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
I've been waiting 40 years for this. They called themselves Ghostbusters. According to these hacks, they saved the world.
I'm less positive about this one
Okay.
by a considerable margin, I think, on a first viewing.
Okay. Well, I have to say I went in with very low expectations,
Okay.
and there wasn't a moment in the film where I wasn't enjoying it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This will be good.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It's not a patch on the original.
No,
Not many films are.
no,
But I think I just went in with very low expectations.
sure.
And yeah, there's a lot to enjoy in it, I thought.
Okay, fine. I found it, one, as I think I said in the intro, not very funny at all. I really struggled. I think there was a couple of times when I went,
Yeah.
that was about it. And it is striving to be a bit of a comedy in places, or I think it was. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't that funny. And two, possibly my other big issue with it was there was way too many characters in it.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that last one. There was a lot of characters in it, but they're all likable characters, and it did kind of divide the screen time between them all quite well, but each one didn't have enough.
Yeah.
So that was probably my issue with it.
It wouldn't have been so bad if maybe if there'd been one or two main stories that had kind of like been a bit more satisfying, and then the other ones had maybe not quite hit the mark. But I felt like even, because I guess Egon, I can't remember her name, Egon's granddaughter, she's the main... Phoebe.
Yeah.
She's like the main character, I would say.
Yeah.
She's like the A story.
And who is found to carry the torch? Descendants of Egon Spengler.
And she's the most interesting of the new characters. And yeah, and I liked her story. I liked her friendship with the ghost. I thought that was really the most heartfelt part of the film.
I like it. It's fine. I get it. It's just a young girl who's looking for connections in the world, and you know, at that age, you're not going to find it with your mum and dad or your siblings or anything like that. So you need friends. You need people to get out, and she's very introverted. She's kind of on the spectrum, I guess, that kind of thing. So it makes sense that she might kind of have a a connection with a spectral being.
Yeah, yeah.
That could work. They could have played it for a bit more laughs, maybe, and
Yeah, it should have been a bit more off it, I think.
yeah.
But it was, yeah.
Maybe I like it's maybe the tone of it is just a little too serious for me. You could have still had that. You can still have the fun, where they're getting to know each other and hanging out and doing ghosty stuff and all that. But it was all a bit dry, I thought. They're just kind of talking about their feelings and stuff. Maybe that's just coming from me.
Probably from you, yeah.
Hold on to your ass! This could bring about the end of humankind.
There's other sort of dramas that's going on. It's supposed to be like this family drama with Phoebe's family, Paul Rudd, the mum and her brother, played by the kid from Stranger Things, Finney Wolfhard. Yeah, that just felt kind of manufactured, the drama in that. It felt like you'd have a scene where they're angry or fighting or falling out, and I'm like, oh, I guess they're not getting on now. I'm not sure why, but that's the drama, I guess.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like it was kind of fleshed out or built up enough.
Yeah, I guess Phoebe's 15, and I think she wants to be a Ghostbuster, but she's told she can't because it goes against child labour laws and that kind of thing.
You have a miner hanging out the side of a moving vehicle, firing a laser gun indiscriminately.
Has a proton pack.
It's completely safe.
I wouldn't say completely safe.
The Ghostbusters are finished.
Yeah, that's the idea of it. And so it's supposed to have like this family drama, plus Paul Rudd's not a real dad, but he's obviously wants to be. So it's trying to have that thing in it. And there's a bit at the end where I almost kind of went, oh, that's nice. And I thought, no, you've not earned that. But it kind of tricked me into thinking that it had earned it, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Definitely. It wasn't, didn't pull you in enough to that.
No. And then we've got the old cast are mostly in it.
Can I be of any help? Melnitz in uniform! Yeah!
I thought it's better than Afterlife, where they felt more part of the story.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was expecting Afterlife to be, to bring in the old crew a little more organically, thread them into the narrative, and then when they arrive at the end, it would be a bit more satisfying. But it just kind of felt they were just plonked in, whereas, yeah, this time they got a bit more screen time, and they tried to give them, like, maybe, I think Ray maybe gets the best kind of bite of the story, maybe, but again, it's not all that satisfying. It's the best of the bunch, I think, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Now this is very, very interesting.
Have it for 40.
I've never seen anything like this at all. 60.
Ernie Hudson, he's kind of like an entrepreneur who's properly investigating and researching the ghost phenomena and trying to come up with, like, you know, military grade kind of contraptions and stuff like that.
When I saw that, I thought, oh, you just keep opening more and more stuff in this film. I mean,
Yeah.
Welcome to the new Paranormal Research Center.
You just let ghosts hang out in here?
We've spent 40 years trapping them. Now we can study them.
He's cute.
I mean, for me, that's not what's interesting about Ghostbusters. It's not the actual ghost busting, if you like.
No.
That's a kind of backdrop to it, you know. And it should be about the characters, the comedy, the interactions, and the stories and all that stuff.
Yeah, which is what I like most about this film, were the bits of character
Yeah.
we got, and some of the humour. I thought the scene with Bill Murray and I can't remember the actor's name. He plays Nadim, the fire starter or fire
Firemaster.
master.
Yeah.
Fire master. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite amusing, and he was quite funny in as well. The fire master.
You the weird guy who buys strange old things?
Correct on both counts.
Buddy, you just hit the jackpot.
Yeah, he was okay. I recognise him from a couple of things.
Yeah,
But he's
yeah.
kind of like a Taika Waititi kind of character, isn't he? Sort of man boy kind of, sort of quip kind of thing. I guess people don't seem to like Taika Waititi these days, so.
Apparently not.
Knowing me intimately is still not enough.
To me, it felt like there was a whole movie missing.
I think there's a lot been edited out of it.
Yeah, because suddenly New York's rampant with ghosts again. I mean, I thought they sorted that back in Ghostbusters 2.
That's a lot, y'all! Sing it out!
It's flaky with that kind of stuff, which I'm okay with because even the original film was flaky with what the ghosts. I mean, even like what the ghosts were. There was no sort of like continuity between ghost to ghost. It was just like a crazy creature sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, but they did reference in the films that this was crazy stuff that happened back then. But why is it happening now again? It's like ghosts everywhere.
If there's something strange, if there's something weird, who are people gonna call?
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
In both Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and even in Afterlife, you've got this kind of steady drip, drip, drip build up of ghost sightings, and is this really happening? And then it's like it builds up to end of the world cataclysm sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, it's just right at the start, they're busting ghosts,
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
And then the character stuff, some of it maybe works. Maybe I was just not giving it enough time or something like that. But they just keep throwing in even more characters in this, like we were saying. I mean, I haven't even mentioned comedian writer James Acaster, who I cannot stand.
Bad luck! That's my job. I'm a stand-up comedian.
So I thought, he's just got a little part here, but then he gets quite a lot of. I guess he's there to kind of give a lot of sort of background and explanation, expository dialogue, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, could Ernie not have done that? He's the entrepreneur here. It feels again that like he's been shortchanged. It's often the criticism in Ghostbusters, the original, and even in 2, that his screen time and his presence, and even just like he's not in the original poster and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because he's got a great presence.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, and could have definitely done the scene more.
Yeah, but and I think that they were sort of implying. I'm sure I read some stuff like this is him getting a bit more of the limelight and stuff.
Yeah, I thought I heard that as well.
And it's like, not really. They're trying to have this thing between him and Dan Aykroyd, where and true to character, because Winston was never like a true Ghostbuster. He was doing it for the paycheck at the end of the day.
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
So he's went on to take his skills in ghostbusting, but be an entrepreneur and make all this tech developments and stuff like that. So he's kind of, whereas Ray his heart's in it.
Yeah.
And I think Dan Aykroyd feels like he's just playing himself in this film for quite a bit of it. So I think he's kind of relishing that.
We're being visited by 23 different species and 23 different kinds of ships. I'm not alone in this.
It came from a true place, I think. As him as a writer, he really believes in, well, maybe not the Ghostbusters stuff and all that, but, spiritual worlds and afterlife and all that kind of stuff. So he was definitely kind of drilling into that and having a good time with that.
And it's really a compelling piece of evidence, quite striking.
So they were trying to have a nice kind of like, I guess a sort of like between Winston and Ray, sort of Winston's telling him, come on, you're too old for this, time to retire and all that. And Ray's like, this is what I want to do with my last years. And then they're trying to tie it up at the end a little bit. There's like a line between him and Winston when they're saving.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like, that wasn't earned,
No.
And it just feels again that Winston's been left in the sidelines a bit. I don't think it needed to be, the final confrontation didn't need to be in the Ghostbusters firehouse. It felt a little bit fan servicey, from writers who are like, oh, we're Ghostbusters fans, so
I suppose since the containment unit is there and it's jam-packed full of ghosts and this entity's coming to release them, it does kind of make sense. I'm kind of thinking, why not? But I know what you mean. It's like,
I think it could have been done somewhere else, but it was kind of similar to the original one, I suppose, where it's just a simple setup in one place. It's not like flying through the city, tearing things up and buildings collapsing and all that kind of stuff, which is more the opening scene, I suppose, which is a bit over the top.
It's commanding an army of the undead.
I think we're all going to die.
That maybe brings me into a thing where maybe I'm just showing my age here, but this film made me start to think William Atherton's character, he's this sort of EPA guy from the first film, and now he's the mayor. He's the sort of thorn in the side of the Ghostbusters. But I'm starting to side with him a little bit at this point, because they've got like 40-year-old machinery that's malfunctioning at the start of the film, and like Paul Rudd's just like, he's kind of like just jimmying it closed and going, it'll be fine. You know,
Yeah.
as there's been a lot of people, you know, have said over the years, this is a sort of like film critique thing. Was William Atherton's character really the bad guy? You know, so in the first film, and it's like that's a nice aside. But now in this film, I'm really going, maybe you're right actually. So I shouldn't be thinking that in a Ghostbusters film.
Yeah.
I should be on their side.
I mean the Ghostbusters were a bit crazy, weren't they? They were a bit off the wall.
So I'm maybe being a little bit harsh in it, and maybe just seeing too much James Acaster in it was just tipping me over the edge a little bit.
What's the matter, guys? Too challenging for you?
Like I said, it's a great idea. It's a great world, but yeah, they could find an interesting way to do another film.
I think they need to kind of
need to leave a lot of behind.
Tie some stuff up here,
yeah.
And they didn't really do that. I think I've talked myself down to 2 for this one. I was maybe going to say 2.5, but I don't know. You've not convinced me to move it up a half particularly.
Okay.
I'm afraid so. I'm going to say a 2. Not that it was your job to convince me, but
okay, so I've convinced you to take it down.
Convinced me to take it down. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling, I enjoyed it. I just kind of had low expectations, so I kind of got into it more. So I was thinking 3.5, but I tend to overrate things. So you've maybe brought me down to a 3.
Yeah, I think I could. 3, I'm not going to argue with you too much. I think if you did 3.5, I'd be like,
yeah.
And you've not really sounded like a 3.5 during the review.
Yeah, I mean,
3 is more than fair, I think.
Yeah, I can see a lot of issues with it, obviously, and
yeah,
it's not a patch on the original.
Ranking?
Well, it's no surprise it's which is last place. Ghostbusters Answer the Call, I believe it was called.
Hey, this ain't art, and y'all encouraging them.
Which could have been great. I mean, what's the director's name again?
Paul. Paul, the director.
Yeah. I liked a lot of his work.
Yeah, sure. Bridesmaids and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, especially The Heat with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yeah.
McCarthy. I thought that's a great action comedy, and I thought, well, if he brings that kind of tone to Ghostbusters, then it could be a winner, but then no.
No, I don't. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I can't quite remember what went wrong with it, but a lot.
Yeah, I don't think anything went right with it.
Yeah, it might be that. That would be more at the point. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Ghostbusters Answer the Call. I'm going to call it that, yeah. Okay, my 4th place, no surprises, is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Okay. This is tricky for me because I haven't seen Ghostbusters 2 for quite a while.
Oh, right, so you're not a Ghostbusters 2 fan?
No, I remember enjoying it. I just don't know where to place it. I would put Ghostbusters Afterlife next.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, all right, fair enough.
I believe that everything happens for a reason.
So my 3rd is Afterlife.
Okay. So my 3rd is Ghostbusters 2.
Okay, right. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about Ghostbusters 2 briefly then. It's not a patch in the first one, but I don't think it's too bad.
No. We know our characters, so we go in knowing them.
Yeah.
So that kind of heavy lifting's done.
Although they do kind of reset everybody as well. The Ghostbusters are back down on their luck.
Of course, yeah.
Sigourney Weaver and Bill Murray's characters have separated, so they're back to the start of their romancing.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff, but there's a lot to enjoy about it. I think it gets unfairly maligned, possibly, but it was a hard act to follow. They should have been a bit braver in moving the story forward, but we just get a bit of a rinse and repeat sort of thing.
That's right.
Just not as good.
Come on. There gotta be a few sparks of sweet humanity left in this burned-out burg. We just have to figure out a way to mobilize it.
No surprises. My 2nd favourite is Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
So yours will be... You better
Ghostbusters.
You better say...
Frozen Empire.
You better say that.
We're the Ghostbusters. Can I tell you something else?
What?
Buster makes me feel good. Makes me feel good.
And yeah, so obviously the OG, the original Ghost.
Yeah,
at
Ghostbusters.
number 1. So I think I'm actually going to go and watch that tonight, to be honest with you. That's
Cool.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire reviewed, and we've ranked the 5 films. Did we get that right? Let us know in the comments if you like. But that's all we've got for you today, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.